the station that's on your side. News 12, First at 4 continues.
It's time to visit one of these, how this pile of junk is actually helping people relieve some COVID stress.
And what was meant to be millions of dollars in funeral reimbursements for grieving families is now turning into a target for scammers, what they're planning and how to avoid it.
But first up, child abuse, a major issue. We've seen it here for years, but the pandemic is causing a new set of challenges when it comes to helping the kids who need it most.
Organizations around the CSRA are stepping up to raise awareness, but as Sydney Heiberger tells us, there's still a lot of work to be done.
If you've driven past the Aiken or Wilson family Ys, you may have noticed these pinwheels, but when you realize that each one represents a child abuse case from 2020, it's a sobering sight. Outside the Aiken family Y, 418 pinwheels, each a verified child abuse case from Aiken and Barnwell counties. At the Wilson family Y, there's 682 cases from Richmond, Columbia, Burke, and McDuffie counties. According to Prevent Child Abuse Georgia, the state ranks 38th in the country for child well-being. South Carolina is 41st. Samantha Whitaker at the Aiken family Y says the pinwheels are a small gesture to raise awareness about the issue, but if they can get people thinking about child abuse in their community, they'll have done their job.
We see our members walking up and they're like, pinwheels, like it's such a cute thing, but when they see what it represents, it's a sobering fact, honestly.
Well, during the height of the pandemic, reports of child abuse cases actually decreased, but experts tell me they don't think that means abuse happened any less. Tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we'll talk about what they think might have happened. Reporting in Aiken, Sydney Heiberger on your side.
And experts say the best thing you can do is to learn the warning signs of abuse and report those signs to officials just as soon as you see anything suspicious.
And to make a report in Georgia, you're asked to call 1-855-GA-CHILD. In South Carolina, you can call 1-888-CARE-FOR-US. We're going to be sure to have those numbers on our website and the WRDW app. Right now, Gold Cross is hosting a Pfizer vaccine clinic for first and second doses. You still have some time. They're going to be at the Daniel Field Airport until 6 o'clock. You don't need an appointment, so you can just head on over there. They'll be in the main hangar. If you can't make it all the way to the main hangar, they'll be with the paramedics who can give you the shot in the parking lot.
Pretty cool view of the planes there while you wait. That's not bad.
Let's up in just a few minutes, guys. Richmond County deputies are looking for this suspect in connection to a home invasion that happened last Friday. It happened on Berkeley Road near Kissing Bower Road. Police say the man brandished a dark-colored handgun during the invasion. He was last seen wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, teal backpack, and blue jeans. He is considered armed and dangerous, and if you see him or know anything, call the sheriff's office. The Aiken Department of Public Safety is looking for these two men. It's in connection with the shooting in the Crossland Park neighborhood last Thursday. Police say it happened around 5 p.m. that day near New York Street and Crossland Drive. Police say Lewis Jones Jr. and Jamar Bush were both arrested on drug charges right after the shooting, but both posted bond and got out of jail. Now they say the men are suspects in the shooting. They face charges shooting at an occupied car and possession of a stolen car.
Also in Aiken, officials there are looking for an arson suspect after a fire in downtown Aiken today. Going to show you some photos of the damage of a fire at the Tailgate Tavern in the alley. There were no injuries, but some minor damage. Police got the call around 7 this morning. Started on the patio outside the bar, and officials believe it is suspicious, so they are taking a closer look at all that. Authorities still looking for this missing man from Wadley. Police say 42-year-old Pedro Santiago has been missing for a couple of weeks now, reported missing Saturday, but investigators say he'd been missing since about the 3rd of April. So if you've seen him, have any information on where he might be, call the Wadley Police Department. That number is 478-252-9401. FEMA's Emergency Federal Relief Fund was meant for grieving families needing money for funeral expenses, but now scammers are targeting families who've already lost so much.
Scammers are calling families claiming to be from FEMA. They ask if you're interested in the reimbursement. That's when they ask for the personal information. They're even trying to get your lost one's information to get into their estates.
When you've lost a loved one, you're not always thinking straight, and somebody calls you and says, hey, there's this new government program, and we'll register you for it. We just have to have some certain information to do that. It's very easy to fall prey to that.
Officials say they will never call you unless you have called first. They also say they're overwhelmed with the calls. So if you can't reach someone the first time, just keep calling.
April 15th, it is usually known as tax day for all of us, but not so much this year. The tax deadline is pushed into May on the 17th of May, but for small business owners and people who pay estimated taxes, your deadline is still today.
That also includes people who are self-employed, retirees, and investors. The May 17th extension is for federal and state taxes. For the first time in history, the House will have a full vote to set up a commission to study possible reparations. The bill was first introduced more than 30 years ago by John Conyers. Conyers introduced it every year until he retired. Economists predict reparations could cost more than $12 trillion. Back in February, President Biden said he supports the study.
An Atlanta area high school honoring the late Hank Aaron and leaving the past behind. The school will go from Forest Hill Academy to the Hank Aaron New Beginnings Academy.
Their current name honors Nathan Bedard Forrest. Forrest was an early Grand Wizard in the Ku Klux Klan. He was also a high-profile general for the Confederate Army.
Well, we all saw the destruction of those deadly tornadoes that swept through North Georgia, Noonan, Georgia last month. As you can see, hundreds of homes ripped to pieces there. We're also seeing a lot of people and groups coming together now to help these survivors. Police in Rincon, Georgia, outside of Savannah, sending a truckload of supplies to those survivors. They have food, they have water, they have sanitation products. They say seeing the Noonan community pulling together is what urged them to donate.
That's kind of what tugged at my heartstrings to make us to get us on that donation bandwagon. We want to provide for them, and hope I'm hopeful, and I believe they would do the same for us in return if we were in their same shoes.
Even the money it took for the truck, the container, the driver, that was all donated as well.
The South Carolina House passing a bill to require all schools to offer 5-day-a-week in-person learning no matter what happens with the pandemic. They also voted to remove a Senate resolution which would have given some teachers extra pay. That would be for teachers who have to work both online and in the classroom. If this final bill passes in the Senate, schools will have until April 26th to offer 5-day-a-week in-person learning.
Governor McMaster announcing $9 million more going to charter schools in South Carolina. Governor McMaster says the money will offset increased enrollment during the pandemic, and that's more money coming from the governor's Emergency Education Relief Fund. He's announcing a $1.5 million investment into career resources for 16 to 24 years old. That's going to help with job preparation and then exploring a future career. Walmart makes an announcement that will affect more than 1 million of its part-time workers here in the U.S. Officials say they want to have 2/3 of those employees full-time.
They also want to give them more consistent schedules. This would also give workers better health and dental benefits. The goal is to get it done by January 31st of next year.
So normally, your parents would never tell you to destroy somebody else's property, but what if it was to relieve stress? What if it was completely legal? This is the break room where you could smash TVs, beer bottles, mirrors with bats and balls, golf clubs, getting out all that pent-up frustration. This is West Ashley, about 15 minutes outside of Charleston, and here's what the owner has to say that he hears from customers after a visit.
First question out of our mouth is, how do you feel? And almost without fail, every time, folks just kind of say, better or good.
This just goes to show people like to destroy things.
I guess it does, and it keeps reminding me of the movie Office Space, where they take out all their frustrations on the copier out in the field. But yeah, I guess there's something to be said for that. Of course, the golf course alone, with a golf club in your hand, can relieve some frustrations and create others. All right, moving on now. Health officials say delaying care when you know something isn't right could cost you your life, and for one nurse, it almost did. Coming up, we're going to hear about her emergency brain surgery, and she has a message for you.
And as we continue on through this evening, we're going to see, hang on to those clouds as well as for your Friday, but more showers can be possible by Saturday. We'll talk about that in the full forecast next.
Stream anytime on CBS.
Well, nobody knows your body better than you do, so when you know something isn't right, you know you have to get it checked out.
For one South Carolina nurse, she learned this the hard way, ignoring symptoms before needing emergency brain surgery. Now she's telling her story, hoping others will pay attention. Alexis Simmons tells us more.
Trident Medical Center nurse Stephanie Skall underwent emergency brain surgery after her symptoms went from bad to worse, including numbness in her arms.
I was starting to see stars. I had ringing in my ears, but every day I would just kind of think, well, that could have been nothing.
But it was something. About 9 years ago, she was diagnosed with chronic migraines. Last September, following an MRI, she was diagnosed with Chiari malformation, requiring surgery. It's when brain tissue extends into your spinal canal. She says, don't dismiss your symptoms.
Don't wait, and you know your body better than anybody else, so listen to your body and trust that gut instinct.
The coronavirus pandemic has caused many people to cancel medical appointments due to concerns about the spread of the virus. While many offices have reopened and the spread isn't as rampant, some people are still holding off. Skull surgeon at Trident Medical, Dr. Douglas Stofko, says don't be scared to seek care.
Again, all the precautions are being taken. It's a safe place. And again, a lot of different pathology or problems that you have in your body, to treat them correctly, it's time dependent. So delaying care is typically not in your benefit.
Skull says initially she was focused on mom life and doing her best at work, caring for her patients. Then she became one.
Dr. Stofko was the one who, after years of me having these symptoms, actually got to the bottom of the issue, and he saved my life.
Great advice there. Sometimes staying at home is just not the right option. Even during a pandemic, you've got to get out and get that care.
You do need that help, but it's nice to hear stories like that. So if others are experiencing something similar, to go out there.
And she's a nurse in healthcare, getting so wound up and busy with her life that she ignored her body. So good advice there. All right, let's have a look outside as we
Warmer temperatures for the second half of the week and sticking with those drier conditions for both Wednesday as well as on Thursday, guys.
Anthony, thanks a lot. We know the Apple Watch and the iPhone can do a ton of different things, and now researchers are trying to find out if they can test for things like COVID or the flu.
That's right. It's going to be a 6-month study to see if the devices can predict those illnesses. They're going to look at heart rate, blood oxygen levels, sleep patterns, and even hand washing. So I guess we're going to have to stay tuned in those next 6 months to see what the results are.
Smart watches, aren't they? Well, during the pandemic, a lot of people have been packing on the pounds, but fitness experts say, you know what? Folks are finally getting back to the gym. We're going to explore some options and get some advice for you. Coming up.
Cutting-edge research with global impacts, all thanks to one local mother.
What was your first thought when you found out you had COVID?
I was nervous. The I-Team investigates the impact on vaccinated mothers, too, tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Get started with Xfinity Internet for $25 a month for 12 months. Or ask about a faster option with new and improved speed. Switch today. Follow News 1226 on Instagram to see what's trending in your area.
Well, if you packed on the pounds during the pandemic, you are certainly not alone. With the world on lockdown, watching more TV and eating more snacks is just something a lot of us are dealing with.
Love those snacks. But with vaccines and less restrictions, gyms say they're finally seeing more people flood in. Diana Aulick gives us more.
With the world shut down for the past year, there's been a lot of this, and this. Now, armed with vaccines, we're supposed to get back out there?
Do you mean I need to get back to the wardrobe that I purchased that I can no longer fit into? Yes. We're getting just a little bit closer to when everything's going to be open up and we want to look our best and feel our best.
42% of Americans reported an undesired weight gain due to COVID, according to the American Psychological Association. Average increase, 29 pounds.
It was fun to make sourdough bread. It was fun to make banana bread, but the result of that is not great.
Which is why gyms and streaming fitness companies are suddenly now seeing a surge in new demand and overall workouts. Crunch saw member visits up 30% in March over February. It also saw its strongest new membership sales in a year, despite its huge footprint in major cities like New York, LA, and San Francisco, which still have heavy gym restrictions.
We're forecasting that the big boom is September. When we've gotten through the summer, the kids are back to school, there's some normalcy with businesses opening offices again.
Barry's Boot Camp said March studio attendance was up 31% over February and 48% over January. Its streaming workouts are also strong. At Orange Theory, memberships are up 17% from January, with the biggest jump, 9%, in the past month.
We're getting a lot of people now that haven't seen us over the winter that are ready, and they're like realizing this has been a long time coming. It's been over a year since I've done any type of workout, and I'm really desperate to get back into shape.
Diana Olick, CNBC, Washington.
In all honesty, as we were watching that story, there was an unbelievable food discussion going on among the crew during that story. That's how bad it has gotten.
About bread, out of all things.
Mostly about bread and how great it is.
But it's nice to see people going back to the gym, you know?
Sure.
And it's nice that they're accommodating you in so many ways. I mean, you see people there just working out outside.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to be indoors anymore,
Getting it done. However, none of the crew in our conversation was mentioning the gym at all. It
yeah,
was all
we're still
about
talking about what bread
the
we probably
food.
want to go snack
The
on
food.
after that.
So if you're looking to get active and hit some of our local community centers tomorrow, heads up, there are some changes going on. This is a list of community centers around Augusta that will be closed tomorrow. That's May Park, Henry Brigham, McDuffie Woods, as well as the Bernie Ward and the Carrie Mays centers. And these centers coming up next, they're going to be open, but won't open until 2 in the afternoon. McBean, Robert Howard, Blythe Rec Center, Garrett Gym, Warren Road Community Center. All these changes are for some county-wide training, so it'll be back to normal soon, just not tomorrow. Anthony, so work out at home.
Working at home, I always tell myself, all right, today's the day. Today is going to happen. And then that just gets pushed and pushed more and more. Well, if you do any
Take a look here. No matter where you are in the world, you never want to mess with one of Mama's babies. This video comes out of Turkey. You can see some dogs ganging up on a kitten, backing them into a corner. Let's get those burgers off the grill because I want to show you the rest of this. But all of a sudden, I hope we get back to it. Mama cat comes into the picture, protecting that kitten. And I guess, there we go. There we go. I don't see a dog left. Here we go. There's Mama cat coming in and protecting the... She's just sent 3 big old dogs out of the room right
I
now.
know, look, they just ran off. That just goes to show you don't mess with mama's babies of any sort.
I don't
Dog,
care where you
cat, anything.
I think cats do rule the world. I've had one of each, you know, in the last year or two, and I've seen the cat be the boss around the house, Anthony.
Alrighty, guys. All right, as we go through the next couple of hours, we'll notice those temperatures cooling down into the lower 70s, 71 degrees by about 8 o'clock. Any outdoor plans, you're going to be good to go there. We'll notice those temperatures about 48 degrees by tomorrow morning, and we're going to be watching the chance for some more clouds develop for tomorrow afternoon, with those temperatures getting to about 74 degrees. More showers are going to be possible as we go through the day on Saturday, and that will lead to anywhere from about a couple tenths to maybe about a quarter an inch across the CSRA, and we are going to be seeing some cooler conditions over the next 7 days. 68 degrees on Saturday, a little bit warmer on Sunday, getting back to seasonal for this time of year. Then we're back to the upper 70s as well as the low 80s as we go through next week with mostly sunny to partly sunny skies.
Well, coming up next half hour, vaccine hesitancy. At first it was the minority community. Now we're seeing hesitancy in a different group. Meredith Anderson joins us as we continue the news.